everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make these beautiful hanging stars. Obviously you can use them for anything you like, appliques, bunting, tree decorations, literally whatever you want, and they are made using 2 stars sewn together, stitched together, and I chose to do that because I made normal stars last time, just single stars, and I did find that after a while they started to lose the shape a little bit, so I thought that by having 2 stitched together they will hold their shape really well, and they do perfectly, and they don't lose their shape at all, and they're just that little extra bit thicker as well, a little bit more robust. And then obviously we've got a little bit of yarn for hanging up. So I really hope that you enjoy the tutorial, and remember to subscribe now if you don't already, and so that way you can keep up to date with my weekly tutorials and much more. But let's just get cracking with this beautiful star decoration. So I'm just going to be using some of this Rico cotton. Obviously it's got a really nice sheen to it, so it's perfect for stars, but you can use absolutely any yarn that you like and any hook size. So you're just going to start with your normal slip knot. And if you're not sure how to do that, then just check out my beginner series. So for these stars, you want to start with a chain of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to turn this into a circle. So you want to insert your hook into that very first chain, and then yarn over, and we're going to slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through both of those loops, and that there gives you a little circle to work our next stitches into. So we want to do a chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and that is going to count as our first treble. So remember, I'm working in UK terminology here, so in the US these are your double crochet. So now we are going to do a treble, so you want to yarn over, and we're going to insert our hook into that center ring that we created. So yarn over and insert, yarn over and pull up, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the final 2 loops. So we've got 2 trebles now next to each other. Chain 1, and again all of these stitches are going into that center ring. We're going to do 2 trebles. So yarn over and insert, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and 1 more. So that's 2 trebles next to each other again. Chain 1, and you want to do 5 sets of 2 trebles in total. So we've got our first 2 sets, so you want to have 3 more sets of 2 trebles next to each other, separated by that chain 1. So that's 1 treble, 2, chain 1, 2 trebles, 1, 2, chain 1, and then 1 final set of 2 trebles. So there, now I have 5 sets of 2 trebles. So to close off, you want to make sure you've done your chain 1 so that we can separate these 2 groups of trebles, and then you're going to slip stitch into the top of that first chain 3. So 1, 2, and this is my 3rd chain. So I'm going to insert my hook into that 3rd chain and slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through both. So that is the very beginning of our little star. So to move on, we want to chain 1, and then in between these 2 trebles, so these are the 2 trebles that are next to each other, and you want to work in between those 2 trebles. You're going to do a double crochet. So that's UK double, US single. So insert your hook in between those 2 trebles, yarn over and pull up, you'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both of those loops. We're then going to work our star points, and we're going to do these into the chain 1 space. So into the chain 1 space we're going to do a group of stitches. So we're going to start with a half treble, then a treble. So for a half treble you want to yarn over, insert into the chain 1 space, yarn over and pull up. You'll have 3 loops. You want to yarn over and pull through all of those loops. So that is a half treble. You want to do a normal treble and pull through 2, and then you want to do chain 3, and then back into that same chain 1 space you're going to mirror those stitches back down. So you're going to do a treble and a half treble all into that same space. So treble, half treble. And then again in between the 2 trebles, so you should be at your next set of 2 trebles, and in between there you're going to do a double, and then again you're going to work your point into your chain 1 space. So I'll do this final one with you and then I'll leave you to it. So half treble, treble, chain 3, and then obviously again in the same space a treble and a half treble. And then the double in between your 2 trebles. So if you want to continue that now all the way around, and I will meet you as you complete your final point. Okay, so obviously you should have 5 points as you get to the end here. I've just completed my final half treble into that space, and then to close off we are going to insert our hook. If you remember, we did a chain 1 just before we did our first double crochet. So this is our first double crochet here. You can see the stitch going down into there. And so the one, that is the top of the double here. And so it's this little stitch just next to it. That is our chain 1. So you want to slip stitch into that chain 1. It can be a bit fiddly because obviously it's a tight stitch. And you're just going to slip stitch. Do a little chain 1, snip off and tighten that up. Now obviously if you worked around this tail at the beginning you can just snip that off, but if you didn't, then obviously you'll need to sew it in. And then you want to make another one of these, so follow the last bit of that tutorial to make another one. However, don't snip off when you get to the end. I will meet you once you've completed your star, but as I say, don't snip off, and I will meet you and we will join them together. Okay, so I've completed this star now pretty much. I've just completed my last half treble, and at this point you want to bring over your star from earlier on, and you want to make sure that the right side is facing away from you because we want to have the 2 backs together. So the 2 wrong sides need to be together and the right side's facing out. So you want to line it up so that you've got your stars obviously in a similar position, and we're going to insert our hook through the top of the double crochet on the star in front of us, and then you're going to insert your hook through the back loop of the double crochet on the other star. So you can see here this is our double crochet, and we're going to go through just the back loop. So the back loop here is the one that is closest to you, because obviously this is the right side facing away. So the back loop is the one that is closest to you. And then we're going to slip stitch. So you're going to yarn over and pull through all of those loops. So as we work our way around now, we're going to be working through the whole of the stitch on the front star and the back loop of the stitches on the back star. So I've gone through the whole of the top of the next stitch, which is my half treble, and then through the back loop of the half treble on the other star and slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through both. And again through the whole of the stitch on the treble and back loop only on the back star and slip stitch. We are now at the chain 3 space, and in the chain 3 space you're going to do 2 double crochets, so this UK double. So yarn over, pull through both, that's 1, 2, chain 1 and 2 double crochet back into that same space. 1, 2. And then again through the whole of the top of the treble and back loop of the back treble and slip stitch. And again whole of the half treble and back loop and slip stitch. And then through the double, again the whole of the stitch and the back loop. And you're going to continue that all the way around, and I will meet you as you get towards the other end in just a second. So you just need to remember that in your peaks you are doing 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So I will meet you in just a moment and we will just finish off. So I've completed my slip stitches into my last half treble, and then you just want to slip stitch again into the top of that next stitch, which will just be your double crochet, that the top of the double crochet that we slip stitched into earlier. You then want to do a little chain 1 and snip off, pull that out, and as you pull, just pull down. So now I'm just going to sew in this end really quickly. And once you're happy that it's secure, you can just snip off. So you'll have 2 different sides to your work. So you'll have this side which has got the obvious stitches running along, which are the slip stitches. So this is what I would class maybe as the front, and then obviously you've got the back here. Now because you're doing 2 and sewing them together, you could always do 2-tone stars. Obviously you could have them different colour on each side, which would look really nice. And obviously if you wanted to, you could work through both loops as you went round on the back star as well. It's completely up to you, but I just like having this line of slip stitches facing one way so that I can have a front, if you like. So if you wanted to turn this into a hanging decoration for on a tree, you can obviously just take a length of any yarn and fold it in half so you've got your 2 ends together. And then I just go into the chain 1. So obviously you've got 2 double crochets in the peaks here, and then you should have a little chain 1 space. So I just pull mine through that chain 1, and then obviously you've got a loop and just pull through that loop. And I just like to do it this way rather than knotting it on from the side, because that way it tends to turn your star and your star will always hang on a bit of an angle. Whereas if you do it with the knot so that it's central on the top, then you know that it will hang straight. And then you can just knot the top. You can always trim that if you wanted to. And then you've got star that should hang perfectly straight on the tree, or whatever you wanted to do with it. They make really beautiful bunting as well. And obviously, because you've got 2 stitched together, you don't need to block, you don't need to worry about them losing their shape or curling or anything. They should just stay nice and flat. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this little Christmassy tutorial, and I will see you for another one very soon. Bye.